We're going to turn now to the Middle East and the shots fired today in the Arabian Sea. A U.S. Navy fighter jet took out an Iranian attack drone aggressively approaching an American aircraft carrier, all according to a statement from U.S. Central Command. And that wasn't the only incident today.
Federal agents just seized $63 million in weapons and arrested 127 smugglers. This joint FBI and DEA operation targeted a network moving parts for Iranian drone swarms. The crazy part is that these drones were supposed to be unstoppable. This is a key detail for anyone following the tension in the Middle East. What most people do not realize is how cheap these drones are compared to the ships they target. So here is the deal. While the arrests made headlines, the secret tech found in the boxes is what really matters for our Navy. Federal storm hits hard. The investigation began in the dark corners of the internet where money moves without names. Federal agents from the FBI and DEA spent months tracking a complex web of shell companies and fake shipping manifests. They were looking for the source of high-tech parts that were showing up in restricted zones. This leads to a massive raid where 127 people were taken into custody across several states. Agents found $63 million in weapons and military hardware hidden in plain sight. It was not just old rifles or basic explosives. These were high-end electronics and engines that are used to build drone swarms. These drones are the same ones that Iran's Revolutionary Guard used in a scary video showing an attack on the USS Abraham Lincoln. Their message was simple. They claimed they could see our ships and reach them with drones before our jets even left the deck. There is just one problem for them. The Navy has a new weapon that makes this entire strategy old and useless. Let us look at what would actually happen if they tried to turn that fake footage into a real fight. It would start at 6 a.m. local time when 12 drones climb off a site near the coast and turn toward the sea. Their target is a massive American carrier. These are the Shahed 136 drones. People call them mopeds because of the high-pitched sound they make. It sounds like a leaf blower, and that is actually being kind. Shadow tech exposed. These drones are basically flying lawn darts with a cheap brain. Once a drone launches, it follows preset map coordinates until it hits something or runs out of gas. There is nothing on the drone to see threats or talk to the person who launched it. The people in the command post cannot call it back or change where it is going. It is a simple machine built with parts you could probably order online for a few $1,000s. However, the American Navy is not using cheap parts. A special aircraft called the Hawkeye is circling at 25,000 feet. It has a giant radar on top that can track things as small as a dinner plate from over 400 miles away. This plane can watch over 2,000 targets at the same time. Spotting 12 drones that are as big as a lawnmower and flying in a straight line is easy. It is like looking for a bright fire in the middle of a dark field. America spent $260 million on that one plane. The drones it just found cost about $30,000 each. Within 1 second of finding them, every ship in the area has the same information. This is called a cooperative network. The plane sees the drones at the edge of the world, and a ship 40 miles away already has a plan to stop them. This sensor network turns the whole group of ships into one giant radar with many fingers on the trigger. There are 41 minutes until the drones would hit the ship. The commander gives an order to use regular weapons only. He could end this in 15 seconds, but he chooses not to yet. He wants the other side to see exactly what they expect. He wants them to think we are using up our expensive missiles on their cheap drones. Invisible shield activates. By 6:38 a.m., things get very interesting. The lead drones are now within 12 miles. A large 5-inch gun on the deck of a destroyer starts to move. This weapon fires special shells that explode near the target and spray metal at over 2,600 feet per second. With just 3 shots, 3 drones fall apart in the air. That was only $6,000 spent. There are 9 drones left at 9 miles away. On another ship, a rapid-fire cannon starts to spin. It makes a loud mechanical sound that every sailor knows. This gun can fire 4,500 rounds every minute. In 11 seconds, 4 more drones turn into tiny pieces of trash falling into the water. Only 5 drones are left now. The Navy launches 5 small missiles. Each one costs as much as a nice house in the United States. They are used to chase down something that costs less than a used car. All 5 hit their targets. The whole fight took only 94 seconds from the first shot. 12 drones are gone. But the other side was watching. They think they know how many missiles we have. They think we will run out if they send a bigger wave. They are wrong because of a secret slab of metal bolted to the deck. This is a key detail. It looks like a simple flat panel about the size of a kitchen fridge. It has no moving parts and no barrel. A few years ago, this did not even exist. Now it is the most secret weapon on the ship. It is called Project Meteor. It is a high-powered microwave weapon. Aegis system perfection. The crazy part is that the microwave beam is totally invisible. At 7:35 am, 41 more drones come from one direction and 35 come from another. The people launching the drones think they are winning. Suddenly, their screens turn to static. They see no explosions and no missile trails. The drones just stop working. What actually happened is pure science. Thousands of tiny parts inside the flat panel created a focused beam of energy. This beam moves at the speed of light. It does not need to burn the drone or blow it up. It just needs to reach the electronics inside. A drone's GPS chip runs on a tiny amount of power. The Meteor weapon hits it with a massive amount of power. It is the difference between a small light and a lightning bolt. In an instant, 37 drones fall out of the sky like someone pulled their batteries. They just drop into the ocean. The weapon recharges in only 6 seconds. It takes its power from the ship's big generators. As long as the ship has fuel, the weapon has ammo. It hits the rest of the drones. 76 drones are gone in less than a minute. The missile tubes are still full. The other side is confused. They send 20 more drones that fly very low, just 20 feet above the waves. They hope to hide in the sea spray. But the computer brain of the ship, called Aegis, is too fast. It schedules the firing perfectly. It knows where the drones are and where our own planes are. It makes sure the microwave beam never hits a friendly pilot. It is like the most expensive air traffic controller in the world, working in less than a second. Hidden network history. By the end of the morning, the horizon was no longer cluttered by the erratic, buzzing silhouettes of drone swarms. Hundreds of neutralized units drifted in the Atlantic currents or lay shattered across the coastal scrubland, their high-pitched whirring silenced by a superior electronic umbrella. The tactical efficiency of the engagement was staggering. The Navy had expended only a handful of missiles and a negligible amount of fuel. This lopsided exchange was made possible by the quiet, surgical precision of the FBI and DEA, whose earlier seizure of $63 million in specialized weaponry had effectively decapitated the adversary's logistics before the first drone even took flight. The raid didn't just stop a shipment, it broke the back of a global smuggling network, ensuring that the lost drones could not be replaced. The supply lines for high-end microconductors and carbon fiber frames were severed, leaving the remaining cells with nothing but obsolete parts and empty hangars. However, the kinetic victory, the physical destruction of the hardware, was merely a byproduct of a much deeper, more insidious intelligence harvest. While the drones were in the air, the Navy's electronic warfare suites and high-altitude surveillance platforms were not just tracking targets, they were tracing origins with terrifying clarity. Every time a hidden hydraulic door slid open on a remote rocky stretch of the coastline to launch a craft, a multispectral sensor logged the exact coordinates down to the centimeter. Every burst of command and control telemetry was triangulated back to its source in real time. We now possess a comprehensive digital map of every hidden base, subterranean storage shed, and reinforced bunker used by the network. The opposition believed they were probing the vulnerabilities of American Aegis systems, but in reality, they were illuminating their entire infrastructure for us. They were screaming their secrets into a void that was actually a recording booth. This strategic reversal highlights a detail many analysts and the general public missed. The swarm was never the primary weapon, it was a diagnostic tool that the United States military turned against the doctor. The smugglers' hardware is gone, their primary financiers are in federal custody facing life sentences, and their secret bases have been converted into pre-programmed targets on a standoff missile manifest. While rumors circulate regarding the immediate fallout and the potential for retaliation, one fact is becoming undeniable. The era where cheap, mass-produced drone swarms could hold a superpower hostage is ending. The technological threshold for a successful asymmetric attack has been raised significantly. This victory for the FBI and DEA represents a massive blow to global smuggling, proving that the most minute electronic components can provide the paper trail necessary for a total systemic collapse. The ghost in the machine. Despite the decisive nature of the morning's engagement, the victory carries an unsettling weight that seasoned intelligence officers can feel in their bones. Technology is not static, and the defeat of one network often serves as the evolutionary pressure required to create a more resilient, more aggressive successor. There are growing whispers within the intelligence community that this entire encounter, from the drone launches to the highly publicized FBI raids, was a controlled demolition of an obsolete cell. One wild but persistent theory suggests the $63 million in seized weapons were intentionally leaked to federal agents as a sacrifice play to mask the transport of far more sophisticated biosynthetic components that leave no thermal, electronic, or acoustic footprint. In this scenario, the Navy didn't map a network, they mapped a decoy, while the true architecture of the next threat remains buried in the white noise of global commerce. Another radical perspective focuses on the nature of the invisible beams used to drop the drones. If the U.S. successfully deployed a new tier of directed energy weaponry that functions at such a low cost, it implies a leap in power density technology that remains deeply classified and potentially world-altering. Some analysts argue that the drones weren't just being tracked, but were being infected with a dormant, self-replicating logic bomb during their flight. This theory posits that as these drones were captured or salvaged by third-party scavengers or rival smuggling groups, they would act as digital Trojan horses, spreading a recursive virus through any black market diagnostic tools or command servers they touched. The war of the future is not being fought for territory, but for the very integrity of the global supply chain itself. We are moving into an era where a paper trail is more lethal than a torpedo, and a line of code is more destructive than a bunker buster. The true complexity of the situation lies in the quiet nature of the aftermath. The fact that the Navy used so little traditional ammunition suggests a fundamental shift toward a soft elimination doctrine that renders physical weapons almost redundant. If the U.S. can neutralize a $63 million threat with a few kilowatts of electricity and a coordinated legal strike, the traditional economy of war is effectively dead. Yet this creates a dangerous vacuum. We must wonder if the next network is already being assembled in the dark factories of unregulated special economic zones using 3D printed materials that dissolve into a harmless slurry upon mission failure. This cohesive tale shows that while the U.S. is currently staying one step ahead, the one step is becoming increasingly abstract and digital. The battlefield has migrated from the physical coast to the very frequencies that connect our world, leaving us to wonder what else is hiding in the spectrum. Did you know that a microwave could be used as a weapon of war? This bust changed everything for national security. Do you think there are more hidden networks out there we haven't found yet? Let me know in the comments. Make sure to like and subscribe for more deep dives into secret tech and federal raids.